What's up, Black Lightning 100? Hey, you just bestie. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I butchered your name. Sorry. Hi, Frying Pan Jim. That is a name. That's like one of them, like mobster story names. Let's see. Right now, I'm just sending out a blast of the folks who might be. I mean, just so they know I'm streaming. Do you know karate? No, I do not. I actually, I when I was a kid, I did actually try to learn karate. I got up to at least yellow belt. I was this close to getting orange, but at some point I just kind of lost interest. Like it just got to a point where I was just bored with it, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this no more. It's just that that just that's just kind of how it ended up being. I know my parents were pissed at that about that because it's like, damn it, spend all this money, you don't even want this shit anymore. It's like, yep. Ugh. Let's see. That shouldn't need to go there. So yeah, just put it here, I guess. I never actually got into any like karate matches. Like I never did any. Like it never got up to a point that I entered like any karate tournaments or we had to go against like a rival youth center or nothing like that. It was just like it was literally just learning it. That's it. Uh, what's your favorite episode of Bob's Burgers? That is a very very good question. The one I guess I lean a lot towards is the work hard or die trying girl, or it was like that one. It was like season 5 premiere, and it was just so good because it's like they had to make a play, or they had two competing plays basically. It was like Jean and what was her name, Courtney. It was Jean and Courtney who had two different plays going on, and Courtney's play was Working Girl, and Jean's play was Die Hard. So it's like, hmm, which was already funny enough, but they started competing and it just ended up being a big disaster because they were pulling from each other's audiences and it just everybody was mad. But by the end, they had to make up a whole new play and put that on for the people, and it was ended up being an amalgamation of both, literally work Die Hard and Working Girl, and the title was Work Hard or Die Trying Girl. And it was really funny, and the music was nice, and they had this whole thing with Carly Simon because she like wrote the music for that episode, and it was really good. Like that was like definitely top tier, like Bob's Burgers music moments, and that ending song she did is like has her come in at the very end just to sing the title of the song of the like play. It was fun. It's a really good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It's the one I constantly think about when I come back when I think about Bob's Burgers. It's like a good quintessential Bob's. You know. Yes, yes. Everybody, come in, come in. Oh my God, what am I? Grab that, move that over. I'm just still getting the blast sent out to everybody, just so people can come in here. Hello, Sharon Baker. Okay, gotta put this in one more place. And then and then where's this thing? Oh, there we go. Oh, thanks, Frying Pan Jim. Let's see. Let's see. I honestly didn't like Castlevania Nocturne as much as the first season of the original. First season of the original was like 4 episodes. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were good, great episodes, but it was like, okay, y'all gotta give us a little more here. A little more here. Well, just got future, unfortunately, in need of a rest. You get your rest, Tomb for Thought. Shout out to Tomb for Thought in the chat. Okay, I gotta blast this out to Twitter. Yes, I'm still calling it Twitter because screw Elon Musk. Fucking muskrat. Gotta put this out here. I'm talking. Let's see. I don't know why I'm humming this Christmas song. I'm really trying to pass the time just to send this stupid tweet. That's a little humor for y'all, but yeah, that's been sent out. So welcome everybody to the stream. Y'all already know what it is. I'm talking cartoons and cartoon accessories, and in this stream, I'm going to be talking about some new stuff that's recently came out, and pretty much just all these things have just literally wrapped up within the same week. Oddly enough, it's kind of the funniest thing to me is that all three of these shows basically wrapped up exactly on this. But yeah, we're talking Fionna and Cake, new Futurama, and Castlevania Nocturne. So I'm going to switch it over to the new screen. To me. All right. So, yeah, we're talking this. I think I'll go in order of the actual title of the stream. That's how I think was the best. Because my big thing is I know Castlevania is recent. So it's very likely that it doesn't, get to... It doesn't actually, a lot of people haven't watched it. That's my main thing. Like, a lot of people haven't watched it yet and finished it. So it's like, man, we can make that a last thing. And I'll try to keep it. Most of these I'll sort of try to keep spoiler free. But I might not. I don't know. I think I'll do spoilers for the most part because otherwise. So overall, this is like the spoilers, just like talk pretty much. Like basically my almost review, like a live review, I guess you could say, of all these shows. So yeah, hope y'all with it. Hope y'all enjoy. But yeah, let's get into it. The first one being Fionna and Cake. That, I'm gonna be honest. When I heard about this, I wondered, was this just gonna be a straight up clone to of Adventure Time, like when it was first announced, and I just had this feeling of it just feels like, oh, it's continuing Adventure Time, but just with Fionna and Cake now, and it's just like, okay, cool, I guess, but then we actually get into what the show is, and boy almighty, they got real. They said it's not just you're not getting the same old, okay? You're getting the more deeper parts of Adventure Time. And I think that that was a really smart move on their end, because it's like by the time Adventure Time ended, a lot of its fans were grown adults, like, and we've, let's face it, a lot of us are not really into talking about or into looking at cartoons by that point. A lot of us like moved off of it. Some of us are still here, of course. But it was really that it's really a case of just it's like you got to grow up with your audience, and they understood that from the get-go, and it panned out really well, because this was phenomenal. Like the way Fiona and Cake, it's like I did wonder how can it stick the landing? Where are they going to go with this? It was genuinely my biggest question. Is like, where can we go with how you guys are going to, how you've been doing all this stuff? Because the big thing is that, Fiona and Cake, at first, they're just somebody's part of like Simon's imagination, at least so we think. But that ends up changing. We end up finding out it's like, no, Prismo made them and just hid them away inside the Ice King's head. And so it's like, oh, they're a creation of Prismo, and even Prismo acknowledges like, oh shit, I'm just making Finn and Jake again, but just kind of gender and species swapped. But it ended up, but it ended up some type of stuff ends up happening. They end up popping out of Simon's head. And now it's a race to get back to the original world, but now with trying to get it back to the way it was, where it was like the land of Ooh, but just gender swapped. And really, I like what they did with Fiona. That was something I was struggling a little bit with. I was thinking, I feel like Fiona's not given a lot here. I feel like she really, like, it's not as much her series. I was feeling a little bit though, but as it went on, I was like, no, I see it. This is her series. This is still hers and Cake's. So I really like how it turned out. I really like with hers, it was understanding that it's like you can't run away. You can't just keep running away from this type of stuff. Okay, you want, and I really enjoy how this whole adventure panned out in terms of Fiona's arc, because the biggest thing with her was finally realizing this fantasy stuff, it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's kind of, if you think about it, like Owl House, where the message to lose is like, hey, you can't just run away to your fantasy world, because even your fantasy world, it's like reality comes hitting. It's not just gonna be all fun and games and all this, like, and that's basically that's the wake up call Fiona got, because it was just like, yeah, this stuff is real. Like, there is so much peril in this, and I like that they were willing to commit with it, because as they go through this, we see. Hey, Super D! Shout out to Super D. Check out his comics. Love Rosebuds and Pen and Ink. Definitely go check out his work. But yeah, a big thing. Where was I? I was on it was different worlds of traveling. The big thing for Fiona's arc. But a big thing on Fiona's arc was like recognizing it's like this world, it's like this stuff is real. Like, this is the real peril. It's not just you're going to be immortal and you can kick all this ass without any real training. And that was something I found interesting, is that Fiona in this isn't very good at like combat. Like, she very much gets her ass handed to her everywhere they go. Like, every new location just results in her getting her butt kicked, and it's like, oof, like, you really think you cut out for this like adventure and stuff? Because you're getting washed, honey. Like, that's just kind of how I was seeing it. It's like that, but I think that was what plays into, her story, is finding out that it's like, yeah, this shit is real. It's not gonna be fun time for you, okay? You're going to you're gonna learn real quick how how bad this stuff actually is. And I like that. I like that. I honestly like that more shows and movies are getting into like telling people, hey, let's come back to reality every now and then. Some do it better, some do it worse. The worst I could think of is Ready Player One a little bit. But overall, it's like, I think this is something that works really well. If anything, I feel like Owl House got it right. Like, shout outs to Lori Shepard for the subscribe. Um, but Owl House, I think, works for the sake of for teenagers who, believe they can just escape from their problems and just pretend like it's not a thing. And I think what you call it? I'm blanking on the name. And I think Fionna and Cake. Damn, why was I blanking on that? I'm literally looking at the names. But like, I think with Fionna and Cake, it works great for like adults in terms of that matter. Like, I think that's something to be really appreciated for, because, and I really, like I said, I really appreciate. I like that they went so extreme, because as they go through this, they see people, like, they use a lot of characters that we know and love. We see them die, like they die, and now the one thing that's is like their sort of saving grace on it is the fact of, well, this isn't the universe that you're used to that had your favorite characters. This is just a universe that has your familiar characters, but it still hurt, and it was treated with real sincerity. So it's like, oh yeah, they don't just play it off like, damn, that sucks that one died, but whatever, the real one is okay back home. But it's like, no, you do got to play that. You got to play that straight. You got to play it up like, yeah, no, these people are dead. Like, they died. Okay. Like, I don't know. Doom for Thought says, also, human Marshall Lee is seriously awakening something. You gotta stop saying this, bro. This is like, I've seen this multiple times. You said this. Like, you gotta stop. Like, my God. Oh man, let this man find out this man hooking up with a brother or something. I don't know. But yeah, uh, still not over that moment in the Farm World episode. The Farm World episode has some weird contentions, because, like, that world's Finn, people speculate he's dead because we saw the scarab's feet like go into his head, into the side of his head, and it's just like, okay, it's like, okay, we don't know. Like, we didn't see any blood, and it didn't sound like it actually fully pierced. So I don't think it. I think it was like they pinned him down, but it didn't actually get into his skull. At least that's how I read it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it. I don't think it did. I feel like I could look up. I feel like I could look up the screenshot. It's a very specified screenshot. I don't think I can find it. It's been making the rounds, but I don't know what to look for in terms of a title for it. Oh well. I don't know. I don't think he's dead though. What did you think of older Finn? Feather Deer 414 says. I thought excuse me. I thought older Finn was pretty cool. Like, it's interesting where they decided. 2x4 asking, is this the 30K special? No, that will be on a different day. like it'll be specifically titled 30K like Q&A special. So yeah, sorry, I have a problem with saying things more times than I realize. It's not Tube for Thought says that. It's not that you keep saying it, it's just like it's just it's just so funny to hear. That's just really what it is. It's just funny. But yeah, but older Finn, I think he was really. It was interesting to see him because it's like, okay, this is we've known this character when he was like 13, right? And we see him and we've seen him grow. Like by the end of this, I'm pretty sure by the end of Adventure Time he was like 16, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think, but seeing Finn older here, it's interesting now because it's like he's fully realized. Oh, he's 17 by the end. Huh. Well, weird. He really, they really did not. I don't feel like they changed him enough to really display that. Like, I feel like if you put a side by side shot of the season one Finn and the last season Finn, I feel like they still that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I don't know, but with like Finn, with older Finn, it's like he's more realized. He can start killing stuff and everything, and it's like, wow, to see this innocent boy like actively like this kid just straight up is now an adult. He's a man and he's killing people. Like he's killing things now. He like instead of just beating up the monsters, like no, he's gonna kill. He kills them. They die. Now possibly I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but maybe like Finn may have killed something or someone in the original Adventure Time, but I don't know. I could be wrong. There could be an episode I'm misremembering. It's been a long time since I last watched all of Adventure Time, so I don't know. But um oh, he blew up Fern. Yeah, yeah, it's something. I guess that's where the first realization for him is like, I've officially taken a life. So that's so I don't know. Maybe this is it finally manifesting something. Or, I don't know. You never know. Might move that over. But yeah, it was interesting seeing people who didn't watch together again upset that Adult Finn didn't get closure when his closure is in that special. Yeah, that's the thing. Like people, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know people that were actually upset about that. That's weird because Finn, it's like they Ben gave Finn his closure. That's why it's called Fionna and Cake. It's not Adventure Time 2. It's Fionna and Cake. It's about Fionna and Cake and subsequently Simon. It's not. It's like why would you expect? Frickin' Finn to get another piece of closure in this series? I'll admit the one thing I thought was gonna happen was I thought Finn was gonna team up with Fionna and Cake. Like I thought that would have been pretty sick. But this is one of those series that's like it's giving you what you need, not what you want. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, we always need good shows that are just giving us what we need and not what we want. So okay, but that's sort of that thing. And like, I think for the most part, like I think that I just don't I like that's something I find a little odd because some people had even problems with finale, but I think we'll hold off before we get talking about that. Edition anime, there's so much anticipated anime series dropping in this last quarter, it's hard to stay on top. Yeah, tell me about it. There's so much crap coming out. I'm like, God damn it, this is too much to keep up with. Come on. But yeah, getting on to Cake, I like how it's like it was interesting seeing how she like still retained that weirdness to her, but it's a bit more smidge raunchier because it's like now it can be like it was there before, but now it's like, oh, we can get a little into it. So it's like, okay. And but I liked how Cake was in this. It's like because basically you're kind of seeing this play out a little bit more real, where it's like somebody's pet, like someone who they basically only take known as a pet, now becomes basically a actual regular companion, like an actual friend that you can actually converse with, and they respond. Like that was interesting to see it play out like that. That's why I was a little split on their like between Fiona and Cake's like feuding, but then I thought about that for a second. It's like, no, this is like new. This is new territory for them. So of course it makes sense that Fiona is scared for Cake a lot, because it's like, yeah, I don't know that you're full. This is all new stuff to both of us, and we don't know how this is gonna play out. I don't know how if you're invincible or nothing. So let's play it by ear, you know. So I want to say with Cake, I enjoy how she was done. Cake was wild and telling the other counterparts to kiss each other. Yeah, it's just funny to know that Cake is a self-cess shipper. For those who don't know what self-cessed is, you're lucky. But nah. Um with the but I think that was something I really liked with Cake, is she still as rambunctious as ever. She was pretty much in a new, like, this was all new for her, but she still was just like go with the flow, still trying to have fun and such. So it was just interesting to see that. But I think getting on to like Simon, man, yeah, because it's like Simon was my favorite character. And also Feather Deer, you don't need to at me every time. You can just type in chat. I'm likely to see it. I got you right here. Don't please don't keep adding me. I'll see it. But yeah, like it's Simon, I really was on. It was funny to think how they were gonna go about this, because I was like, yeah, it's like, who is Simon without the Ice King stuff at this juncture? Because it's like time has moved so beyond that he basically can. It's like the world you knew is gone. So what can you do at this point? Like, so it's one of those things where it was interesting seeing him be so obsessed with Betty. It's because it's like, yeah, Betty's gone. She became gold, and she's just off, probably doing horrendous things. So you go to with Simon, it's like his whole thing is trying to get back to Betty, trying to return her back to the way she was and all that. But it's like, that's just not how it is. It's you can't. She's lost forever. You just kind of got to move forward. But it's interesting to see how they played out the story, because they kind of did this thing where like I liked how they have it where it's like by the end he had to reflect on the fact that he was neglecting Betty from the start. You know, she's doing all this and that. She's sacrificing so much to be with him because she's infatuated by him. But he's just not paying attention. He's just dead set on the Enchiridion, trying to find that on his expedition, on his work. Not realizing she kind of has her own life and she should be allowed to live it too. It's like it's like you gotta you gotta compromise on this. So it's like every now and then you give and take, and you know, she gives, you take, and you give, she takes. But that just wasn't happening. It's just him taking more than anything. And so, and I really like the part at the bus. We're really in the spoilers now because this is the finale. I really like the part of the bus where like it's just Betty and it's just Simon, and this is this is basically a remix of of this time before, because beforehand, like, Betty just ditched going on her expedition. She didn't get on the bus, and she just went with Simon. She just said, "No, I'm going with Simon, and I'll help him on that." And by the time we got to, but by this finale, it redoes that scene and makes it so it's like Simon decides, I'm gonna go with you on your expedition. I'm gonna help you with that. And but they stop the scene to be like, but it didn't happen that way. They say Betty even acknowledges like, yeah, we just we went, I gave and you took, and you just we clearly just weren't speaking to each other right, so it just didn't play out, and we just live with that. You're gonna carry the weight. You are gonna live with the regret that it's of what you could have done differently, but you just got to move forward. That's all you can do. You just live. And I think that was I think that was a beautiful moment. I think that was a really beautiful moment in Fiona and Cake, and honestly in all of the Adventure Time. Like, honestly, it was really good. Like, and people were really playing up Tom Kenny's performance in all of Fiona and Cake, and it really was his best. And this is a voice he's used on multiple occasions. We've heard this character throughout our childhoods, and this is like it just hits so well, even especially with the fact that it's from a character from our childhoods. It's from it's Ice King's voice, and he sounds like, and he just, but it works so well. It's like, wow, it's like he put his whole into this. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, I think that genuinely was one of the like best scenes in all of like Adventure Time. Like, I really like how that was played out. But yeah, man. But getting into, I guess, a little bit into more of the finale. I honestly like how it was done. I appreciate the end of Fiona and Cake where Simon gets therapy and they tell him it's a lesson and that life will have him forget and relearn it, because, man, that's ain't that something? It's like, yeah, look, you're probably, it's like, you'll learn a lesson and then time will go by and you're probably going to forget the lesson, and so, oh well. Ain't nothing you can do. You'll just learn it again, probably the hard way, or an even harsher way. But it's like it was real. It, like, the lessons this show was teaching, they were real. That's what I really like about this, is that it's like everybody watching this is like, you're gonna feel it. It's meant for adults. Like, I feel like kids could enjoy it, but not as much. It's catered to adults. Like, straight up. This has a lot of Adventure Time's all-time best sequences. Yeah, it does. That's just what I said. I appreciate it. It's actually really good, and yet it still has unusual whimsy. I thought when Fiona blew on the dandelion representing her world, it would have restored back to how it was. I feel like it was best not to. I'm glad it didn't. Like, it just restored back to the way it was, of just being a regular, like, town with no, like, fantasy stuff in it. I like that. And the fact that it got canonized was good too. It's like, yeah, Fiona and Cake exists. Though, I do gotta wonder, is all of their world just that little town? Because they did like a big establishing shot zoom in of the that world, and all you saw was just this little piece of the like town, or just this little, like, this, just, it's just like, wait, that can't, there's more to this, right? They got airports, don't they? Like, they're able to travel the world, right? Like, no way in hell this is all. I don't know. I'm hoping there's more to that world than just that, but if not, Fiona will want to get out of that place real fast. It was interesting seeing what was that, Homeworld Fend or so. Son and his girlfriend show up, and they're just like, "Can we live here?" It's like, okay. It was just funny, but the finale overall, I think, was done pretty well. I like how it was like the scarab. He was just chasing him, but he didn't have a strong philosophy. He was just basically a major obstacle for the characters to overcome by the end. It's like, okay, you could argue it's like, okay, he's there to mainly give us the big finale fight scene and sequences, and it's like, yeah, because it is Adventure Time at the end of the day. It's like Adventure does have some type of big climax, like, so it'd be weird if it didn't, you know. But I think that's just something that plays out very well. It's like just night. It's just basically a really nice bow to wrap to finish off this series. At least I'm hope that's my thing. I don't know if this is a season or this is supposed to just be a plain mini series. Like, I'm genuinely confused on that note. I don't know. Like, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I could be wrong. But either way, it's still pretty good. But you get to the rest that finale, it played out interesting with him like tearing up the world and everything. He's just so dedicated to destroying them, even though they were like canonized by some point. It's like, wow, jeez. He was just hard pressed. But the Scarab guy, he clearly was just meant to be a plain baddie to be a baddie. Like, there's no like major deeper motivations other than like getting in the rank, rising in the ranks, I guess. But it's like he's just wrecking house pretty much, and they got to fight back. They're willing to say, hey, they were even willing to just let the world get destroyed as long as it's like, oh, he's like, Simon's fine, and it sucks we're about to lose, but whatever. Well, it's okay. It's like, oof. But overall, it's like, it was a nice battle. There were nice funny bits, like the way they had Gary just looking at the Scarab and being like, oh, he's hot. I'm like, Gary, focus. or like they had Marshall Lee play a love song thinking that was gonna save the day or stop the Scarab. I'm like, what? like I'm like, can we back up for just a minute? Where is this coming from? Thinking you can stop this. It's like fighting with the power of love. It's like, what are we doing anymore? But it was overall a really well done fight. I liked Cake finally getting control of her power and like making herself into that giant Godzilla like thing. It's like, okay, you're this giant Godzilla. How does that make you feel? That type of stuff. I don't know. But like, it was good. But overall, with Fionna and Cake, I think it's a really great series. If there's anything else I want to talk about, I wrote some notes down. I think there's something, but I feel like I covered most. Oh yeah, apparently I think some people had contentions with the finale concerning Betty a little bit. I think like people wanted Betty to return, but I'm like, no. I think it's best that Betty doesn't. I think it was better that they went. I think it was best for them to go the route that they went, with Betty just staying gold and Simon just accepting that Betty is gone. It just wasn't meant to be. Like, finally accepting that. That's the biggest thing, is that it's like, it's not meant to be. Like, all this was very preventable. Like, you could have very much prevented a lot of this. All you had to do was just pay attention. But he didn't. Backfired on him. I think the nightmare would have been what was going to happen if Simon put on the crown. Oh, yeah. I think that was, yeah, that whole stuff with the crown. I'm glad it's like he learned. They finally, like, I'm glad with Fionna, she was like, oh, that's what it's going to take for you to be able to give us our fantasy world and everything. Like, you got to lose yourself. Like, I think that was really strong for her. Like, honestly, her and Simon were really good. They were really good playing off of each other. Like I'm glad that they were kind of like both in that both wanting wanting something strongly and willing and honestly willing to sacrifice as much, but learning this is what real sacrifice is, and realizing, oh no, I can't we can't keep doing this. This stuff is bad. It's hurting people. We gotta. It's like you just gotta move on. You gotta move on. You know. You can't. It's like you can't dwell on this stuff, and you can't be in. You can't just think running away from your problems is how you fix them. You know. So that was just something I really think. Like I really am glad that they had Fiona be like, "Yo, Simon, I don't want you to risk your life for me like that. I don't want you to kill yourself basically on my behalf, or to lose yourself like that." You know, I think that was really good. They played out really well. But yeah. What else? Let's see. Yeah, all my notes have pretty much been covered already. But overall, Fiona and Cake is an excellent series. It's if you are an Adventure Time fan, definitely check it out. If you're not an Adventure Time fan, you can try to check it out, but you might not enjoy it as much, maybe. But I mean, because a lot of stuff happens, but it's like you don't have as strong a connection to the stuff that they recap in the show, because like it's like, hey, they want it to still be something non-Adventure Time fans can be able to watch. I don't know. BMO just carrying a whole desolate universe on their own through imagination delusion. Uh, I forgot about BMO. That was God. That was morbid. Like BMO went insane. Like was insane. I'm like, oh, no, we're doing that type of story. Like the second BMO started calling Fiona Finn, or like was not referring to everybody properly, like not acknowledging things properly, I was like, no, 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 y'all ain't doing that to BMO. You can't do that to BMO. And it's like, no, yeah, BMO cracked. They are screwed in the head. They're not thinking right anymore because they're so saddened by the loss of their friends. I'm like, oh. And then to top it all off, BMO tries to do a really nice thing and help Fiona and Cake in charging up that crown or so. And like all it did was backfire and it killed BMO. Like BMO killed themselves to try to help. And it's like that's how you know they really want you to feel death in this show. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how they want you to feel death in this show. You know what I'm saying? Like they they knew what they were doing with this. They knew it's like we can't just have any old person die. Like let's go for like a major icon of this series. Multiple icons, because if I'm right, like Marceline and Bubblegum died in that one universe, right? Like if I'm correct. Dang, when you think about it, maybe Homeworld Finn did die. Oof. It's kind of messed up. If he did die, because when I think about it, it's like, that's a lot of the main cast gone. Because that's, like, that means every single main cast member of Adventure Time basically died. At least from the very get-go, it's like, Homeworld Finn died, oh, except for Jake type, because Cake didn't die, and Jake wasn't in another world. So, guess not. Maybe not. My theory was like they did kill off every version of the characters from the original series, but it's like, no, because they didn't kill off a Jake. But then again, Jake was already dead. dang man. Look at it. This show gets you to think about it sometimes, man. It gets you to think about it. It's like, man, what was this? What happened? Ugh. But yeah, overall, good series. Like I think if it's getting another season, I'm curious to see how another season would play out. Like that's my thing, because it's like, where do you go from there? It's like, how do you still have fantastical adventures here? Considering all, I mean, the only fantastical thing is like, well, was Cake and that squirrel that showed up with the Homeworld Finn's son. I keep forgetting. It was Jay, right? Like Homeworld Finn's son was named Jay, right? I feel like it was Jay or something. Something Jay. But it's like, if it's not, yeah, it's Jay. Okay. Like when Jay and his girlfriend showed up, I think that was like, it's gonna, I don't know. That could probably play into more if they're wanting to do more. But the way the finale went, I was like, that literally felt like a season finale. Like, we're done. I was like, and I'm not mad. I wouldn't be mad if if this was just another mini series. If honestly, if this is how they go about it with, ooh, now that I think about it, like if they went the route of deciding to just do more, like to just do more Adventure Time miniseries. I don't know if I want that. I feel like at some point it's like, okay, I think if anything, this could be the last Adventure Time miniseries thing. I think we could stop after Fiona and Cake, because any more, I think, would be pushing it. I don't know. I feel like eventually people would just get tired of it if they kept it going. So, but I don't know. Maybe they still have a lot of fresh ideas. If they keep Fiona and Cake going, I think I could be fine. If they wanted to do revive like Adventure Time, but as an adult, a full adult, as an adult series, full on, like we're following adult Finn. Don't know if I want that. I don't know. Overall, it's like, if Fiona and Cake is the last thing they do, great. If they want to continue doing more of Fiona and Cake, great. I'd be interested to see how that plays out. If they want to just continue doing just randomized like mini series, I don't know. Pendleton Ward might have cooked an infinite cash cow, TBH. Maybe, but I don't think he's benefiting as much. Because, yeah, if you understood about like all these strikes that have been going on, like the writer strike, the Screen Actors Guild strike, the writer strike is over right now. But if you understood how much they were getting screwed over on that, and imagine how bad it is over at Animation, like Tag, they get it really bad. like you know how we have multiple guilds for like all these different facets of movie making, right? Like we got a guild for writers, the actors, producers. I think there's all like regular production guilds. There probably is, and I'm just blanking on it. And also there's another guild I'm blanking on, but I don't know what it was for something. But right now I think there's possibly VFX, but that might be getting pushed into animation somewhere. Or no, it's being, I don't know. I think they're making a VFX guild. I think. I feel like I feel like I can look this up actually. Let's see. NLRB rules that Disney production employees can vote to unionize. VFX workers vote to unionize at Marvel. Okay, so yeah, there's a few VFX unions being made. So it's like, okay. Oops. Sorry, I just realized I never I think it's better until I need that. Sorry. Whatever. Sorry, I was just wanted to make sure. But yeah, the VFX Guild. I mean, the VFX unions do exist. Um, so or they're trying to start now. But overall, like it's weird, and I went on this random tangent, but to finish up, like like tag, that's the animation guild. Like all those things from directors, producers, directors guild, that's one of the guilds, but directors, producers, writers, animators, storyboard artists, those like all of that is just pushed all into itself into one guild, and it's nuts. It's like that should not be how that is, like at all. Like because the problem with that is it's othering animation. It's like treating animation significantly like it's like it's the most super different of the filming mediums, and it's just like that's so unfair. None of that, like that's and it this the way they got it like this, they get screwed over heavy when it comes to their contracts. Like they do not get paid that well. They don't get paid that well. So it's it's going to be an interesting fight next year because tags contracts are going to be up, and yeah, uh, Eads and Blue. Ed, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. It says tag goes on strike July 4th, 2024. Right? They don't go on strike. They whether or not they go on strike is all dependent on if they can get a good deal and the first time that like after the contracts are up. Like once the contracts are up, if they haven't had if no good deal has been made, Eads in Blue. Okay, I said it right. If by the end, like in July, if I'm right, like you said, if by that time they haven't made a deal, then they potentially can go on strike. And the question is, if they go on strike, will the other guilds have tags back? You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping because Tag was showing out for everybody from like the Writers Guild and Screen Actors. Like they were showing up, they were like going to the picket lines and saying we stand in solidarity and all that. And sadly, I mean not sadly, but like so it's going to be a question to ask moving forward. Like, yo, what's up when it comes time for their strike? Are y'all going to give them their paid dues? You know what I'm saying? Okay, I thought I was like lagging behind. I was looking at a this way the stream is. I was looking at the stream and I thought it was lagging, but it's like no, it's just wasn't live. But neither here nor there. Yeah, when it comes to but when it comes to the tag, whether when it comes to their contracts ending, I'm hoping people just show up for them. They really are gonna need it because animation is treated so poorly, and the fact that tag is all split is just all these different facets of filmmaking put into one guild. It that's got to be. It's like it's way too much of othering animation. It's not good. It's not good at all. So it's like I say, it's like if you can donate to them, like go to their page. See if I can actually find their website where you can donate, because otherwise, oops, contact, pay dues, contracts, members, quick community, organize junior jobs, members, tax store, pay, press room, press. Guess they don't have a donation, or maybe they do somewhere, and I just need to find it somewhere. Negotiation resources, news, contact, portfolio. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find a donation link. If anyone can find a donation link, feel free to put it in the chat. Find get involved, communities, groups. Nope. Community calendar online store. The most is their online store, but I don't know if that's as helpful. Whatever. Let's see. Tommy Lamb says tag is going to be under Etsy. Etsy has all the all of the production workers from major studios, VFX and such. Of course, everyone wants their fair deal, but if anything, this bolsters their odds. That is true. So I'm hoping that because the Writers Guild, they got a really fantastic deal. So animation needs a fantastic deal. They really do, because they're the medium that struggles the most in Hollywood. I feel like they're just kind of that one medium that really struggles. Not in terms of making profit. They very much make bank. It's just they get screwed over the most because no one takes it as seriously, and it's like, so they like a lot of their money that they're owed is not getting paid to them. So it's like, here's the hoping. But yeah, enough bantering. Guess we can get into Futurama. Yeah, I want to get some screenshots or images that I can pull up at some point. Yeah. Because otherwise it's like y'all just gonna be looking at that image, and that's probably not fair to you. There you go. Not ideal, but fine, works enough. So yeah, Futurama, the new season. I want to say it. I remember it was a while back. It was a few weeks back, but it was like we were talking about getting new stuff versus getting more reboots and rehashes and stuff, and like it was talking with Johnny Two Cellos, and like he had mentioned that new Disenchantment was coming out and such. And the biggest thing is like a lot of people ain't feeling Disenchantment. I'm kind of in that boat. I was trying to watch the third season, but I just couldn't finish it. And like once you get to now we get this new Futurama, but you have to, it begs the question of this: would you rather have a new Futurama or a would you rather have a new Futurama or just continue Disenchantment? Because Disenchantment's last season was this year. It just finished. And his thing was like, I'd rather just go with new Disenchantment, even though he had seen Futurama. He got to see Futurama early, but he was like, he'd rather just get new Disenchantment rather than any more Futurama. And I kind of understand, and I honestly get that, and I'm kind of in not fully in that boat, but I'm in that like space of like, yeah, while this Futurama isn't, I don't think it's not bad. That's the one thing I want it to be understood about this. It's not bad. It's just the biggest thing is it's good, but it does feel it's even better than most of like the Comedy Central run even. But you can't help but feel like, could this have just gone towards something a bit original? Because the way Futurama ended is like, yeah, this is a great finale. We're done. We don't need more after this. We are pretty much set in stone. But they want to do more, and so it's like, okay. But thankfully, they at least came in with a few unique ideas. They actually came in with some pretty unique ideas in this one. Like, that's something I think was the biggest worry, was that it was gonna go a little into those Comedy Central run problems, where it's like trying to use pop culture references and stuff, and it's just like, y'all not meant for that, okay? I mean, Futurama can make pop culture references. It's just they were going for more straight modern in the sense, and it wasn't done in a clever or parody way. Like, I guess one recent joke that I can remember from the very first Fox run of Futurama was the Napster joke. It's like, okay, this is sort of dated, but they played it properly. Like, it's they played it very much heavy as a joke. Like, they didn't. It's like, oh yeah, it's called Napster, but the real name of the place is called Kidnapster because they're like cloning data from robots and such, and it's hurting the robots. Like, okay, but it's or no, they were cloning data from actual like the little living heads. That's what it was, not the robots. I'm sorry. Like, they were cloning data from the actual living heads, and in doing that, it it was like hurting them, like when they were trying to do that because it would like electrocute them. But that was like the one joke. That was like the one joke that was like that I remember that was a modern joke, but still felt like timeless anyway. And the Comedy Central one had that problem where it's like they just couldn't make those timeless jokes for these type of modern references. So we get to the new one, the Hulu run, the Hulu series, or technically the Fox run again. If you find that funny enough, it's like first it came out on Fox. First it was done by Fox, then Comedy Central picked it up, and now Fox has it back. It's fun. That's just funny, but um, some of these things, like, I guess we can get to keep it to the negatives of what I really wasn't feeling. I really wasn't feeling a good chunk of these pop culture episodes. Like, a lot of them just felt way too dated, or just felt tired and not that inspired even. Like, the COVID episode, I was when I first heard it, I'm like, oh, this is definitely gonna be a bad one. I was not having it with. I was like, okay. I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it definitely was like, there's that tired joke. There's that tired joke, and then to top it all off, it was so nonsensical by the end. It's like, what was the point? What was the plot? How did we go from A to B? How did we get from the start to the finish? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm wondering. It's like, how did we get here? I don't know how the dots connect to be able to show us getting to this direction. I don't. So that was something that really annoyed me with that new episode. I was like, what? I mean, no, with that one COVID episode. A big thing I really freaking hated in that COVID episode was how LaBarbara and Hermes were done. I hate in y'all. If I had conservative audience members, y'all gonna hate me for this. But they, oh, y'all gonna try to call me woke on this shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, conservatives might call me woke on this shit. I hate how they portray the one black character, the one black female character in the series. Like, they treat her with so much disrespect. I don't like it. I hate it. I do. Because to me, it's messed up. It's so messed up, because it's like, this is your only black female character you have part of the cast. And instead of actually, like, giving her character, giving her own arc or something like that, really making something interesting with her, you just play up that she's cheating on her husband. Okay. We doing that. I don't know why we're doing that. Why are we doing that? Who asked for that? Stop doing that. It's not funny. Like, the Fox run, I didn't like the Hermes stuff either. I think the Barbados Slim stuff got pretty old during the Comedy Central. It very much did. Like, the Barbados Slim stuff, the last, I guess, sort of funny moment was during the movies. Like, in the very first movie, mind you. Like, that was, I think, the last time that Barbados Slim was actually kind of funny. I don't remember a lot of the Comedy Central run because a lot of those were episodes I just watched once and didn't care to watch again. Sadly, whereas the Fox run, I constantly reran that one all the time because it was on Adult Swims. So I constantly have a lot of the ooh, bought my mic. I have a lot of the first season already in mind, like embedded in my memory. But it's like, yeah, with Barbados Slim, I just uh thank you to Kaya the Gamer for subscribing. Yeah. Also, just know y'all that Super Chats is on. Also, you can donate to the PayPal so I can actually get the money directly. Also, become a Patreon and or a channel member over on the little join button. And for Patreon, the link in the description. But yeah, I think it's like with Barbados Slim, he's just not he's not funny because the joke is just like, oh yeah, he's this Jamaican god who like makes the lady swoon, and they don't really do anything funny with him. They don't play up anything that ridiculous about him. I at least don't feel. And so we get to this episode and it's like, okay, it's just this crap of the same shit of Hermes' wife is unfaithful to him and ain't it funny? And I'm like, one, like I said, you're already screwing up by making the one black female character in your cast look bad. But two, you literally, I mean it, you literally are doing this crap of putting, like, you're literally doing the shit where now this beloved character that we all enjoy and everybody likes is is basically a tool. Like he's just the guy to pick on. And I'm like, why are we picking on Hermes? That's what blows me about it. It's like, why are we picking on Hermes? What did Hermes do that requires any of this? Like, he's a nice guy. He's he's obviously, the joke is that he's supposed to be kind of boring and all that, but it's just like he didn't do anything. Why are we treating it like he did? It's like there's not a lot of comedy in just hurting the nice guy. I mean, here's the thing, you sort of can, but you got to do it in a clever way. You got to do it in a unique way. Like, you got to play up the relatability aspect of the nice guy kind of getting fucked with, in that it's like, oh yeah, I've been there, like bad luck is happening to him. In this instance, it's just his wife's being a his wife's being a jackass. I'm just like, no. That's not funny. Come on. Her gag is cheating on her husband and Hermes looking lame. Sucks when he's had some good episodes dedicated to him, like the Bender one. Exactly. Like, he's had really good episodes, and he's been a genuinely nice, funny character that we all like, know, and love and enjoy whenever he's on screen. So it's weird that they want to treat him like this. It's like, homie didn't do nothing. Come on. Like, just treat him with some respect. That's all we ask. It's like, treat Hermes with respect. Treat Hermes with respect, okay? That's just my thing with that whole thing. And then another thing, like, I'm not Jamaican, but I personally don't like it in this day and age where, like, stuff wants to talk about voodoo or get into, or, you know, or use voodoo in some way, because it's never done right. And a lot of time it's usually done by, like, white people, like the writers are white people or something like that, and they didn't want to do, like, any homework into what voodoo is or what goes into it or nothing like that. And I'm just like, why are we still doing this? Like, genuinely answer this question for me. Why are we still using voodoo as, like, evil magic sources or anything like that? Why are we still doing that? I don't understand it. I never understood it, because it doesn't do anything. We're just doing this just to do it. Like, it's just something to do. I'm like, nah, man. Like, if you're gonna do voodoo, it like really get into what it is, like teach people what this stuff is so people aren't constantly, because a lot of people's perception of what voodoo is the freaking dolls, like the little dolls that can actually affect an actual human being. Like if you break the arm of the doll, it breaks the arm of the person, and or something like that. And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure that's like a mad misconception. But it's like, please stop doing this. I just hate it when they do that. I don't know. What other episode was there? There was also the anthology episode. That one, I think, genuinely was like one of the worst in the whole episode, because it still plays on this problem where they keep having the love interest like cheat, because they sort of did this back in like in the Comedy Central run, and seems like it's a bleed over now. But like in the Comedy Central run, in like the second episode, Leela kind of cheats on Fry with Zap, even though it's like, didn't they just confess their love for each other? Why are like, that's a whole thing I'll get into later. And then we had Amy hooking up with Bender, like after, like basically cheating on Kif already, which was like, wait a minute. Like, you're telling me it's like, yeah, she just cheated on Kif. I'm like, but what did Kif do? And by the end, they're back, like Kif and Amy are back together. So it's like, whatever. But it was really stupid, because it's just like, no. It's just, no, it doesn't feel right. Like, that's just stupid. I don't know. Feels like Jason Todd after taking too many dips in the Lazarus pit. That was what you're saying the new Futurama was like. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't think it's to that degree. You know what I'm saying? But oh yeah, we haven't talked Nocturne yet, have we? No, we haven't. That's gonna be the last thing, the last show I talk about. But let me know if y'all like this setup here, like because I might make this more of a regular thing after like a new show, after a new season wraps, or a new show like a Netflix series has come out. Like if I don't have a video idea for it, I could decide to just do a live stream and just kind of do live reviews of it or something. I don't know. Let me know. Like, just sound off in the chat. Let me know. But yeah, like that anthology episode. Like I got distracted. That anthology episodes. I haven't really seen anyone else do this. Huh. Trailblazing. But that anthology episode was so atrocious, and I don't know why they did it this way. I think they were trying to keep it fresh, but it was more distracting and annoying, because the way they did this one was the Planet Express crew go on a mission, and some weird stuff happens where Leela falls in love with a prince of this world that they're on, that they have to deliver a package to. And in that, it's like some weird stuff happens, and it's really stupid, because it's basically like, yep, Leela's cheating on Fry, even though we've established, because by this point Fry and Leela are moved in with each other. So it was really odd that they just decided, yep, Fry and Leela are just kind of randomly broken up on this. But then by the end, they just say, yeah, no, she was just under a spell. I'm like, that was like so unsatisfactory. Like, what? How do we get to that? Why are we there? How did you end like that? None of that made sense. It was just weird. I don't know. That was just something I was like, what? I don't know. That was just a weird episode. And the biggest ass kicker of it all was, it was since it's an anthology series, anthology episode. The anthology was like toys, like toy based. So it was just it was like 3 different shorts, like Futurama shorts, and the theme was toys basically, and they would just turn the Planet Express crew into toys, and they're just going on just telling these random stories or some shit, but they're not funny. They're not good. It's just like, this is where we are. I mean, because I'm just like, you don't have to keep the anthologies going. They were only like 2 episodes in the original Fox run. To keep it going, I just would be like, we can stop. We're doing this, but it takes a lot out of us. Or something. I mean, not to speak for them, because maybe there's something I'm missing, but that was just genuinely something that bugged me about that whole ordeal, because it's just like, why toys? And it's like why toys, and why have this thing play over, because it would act as like commercial interruptions. That was something weird to me. I was like, why are these commercial interruptions? Why not, just cut to the next thing, or either cut to the next thing, or if anything, why not do it like the what if machine? That's the thing. They removed the what if machine. Like, they've been removed that since the Comedy Central one. They didn't even use it then. If I'm right, they might have. I might be forgetting. I don't know. If Johnny Two Tails was here, he'd probably correct me. But that was always something that bugged me. It was just so weird how it was played, because it's just like, why are we interspersing this? I just couldn't understand why it's interspersed. Why isn't it just, played straightforward, or just done with like that little that plot device of basically them telling the stories through like the machine or something, or at the very least like sitting around telling stories. I can understand that, maybe, but this way I'm confused. I was just so confused. But yeah, that was just a bad that was like their worst episode. That was like the worst of the season, potentially of all time, maybe. I don't know. I'm not above saying it was probably the worst of all time, but yeah, I wasn't feeling that episode. What other negatives were there? Let me check my notes. Oh, one thing was the animation clearly is not as strong as before. Like, the way they move in certain the way they move sometimes, it's just like, okay, yeah, that's not as loose as it usually is. And then to top it off, there's not as much energy anymore. So like a big thing about Futurama was that it had a lot more movement to it. And whenever they're talking around, even when they're just talking around the table or something, there's some type of scientific thing going on, some type of weird thing going on to keep things interesting. Now, a lot of this season was just them sitting around or standing around and talking with not a lot happening. There's even like a weird shot in one of the episodes. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, why it's like weirdly framed, basically, because it was made there to make room for one of those hollow screens, but they didn't have a new shot to use after the hollow screen went away. So it's like, because basically it's like, oh yeah, once the hollow screen was gone, they would have cut to a different shot, like from behind the person who was looking at the screen or something. But that's not happening. And so we get to this. So the way this season played out, it was just played up a bit more small. Like, they clear it. Obviously, honestly, I would chalk it up to first season jitters to a degree. This is the 11th season of Futurama, but it's them returning after so many years being away. So it's like, okay, technology is different. We have different budgets to work with, different management to even work with, and all that. So it's like, we'll see where we can. So it's like, let's see where we can go. But social cross, but. I think overall it's like not, but the animation I don't think is too bad. It's just every now and then there's wonky moments where you're just like, that could have been better. But yeah. Oh, another episode I really didn't like was the Zap got canceled. I I really personally believe that Hollywood needs to get off this canceled crap. Just get over it. Stop it. It's not real. It's not a problem. Y'all are rich. Y'all got money in the bank. This is never going to be an actual issue for you unless you've done something illegal. Like, really. Like, we're not at that point where it's like, oh, this person said something so many years ago and now they're going to get fired. I mean, we were for a little bit, but that did go away. By this point, it's like, yeah, if you said these things like so many years ago, it's like, who cares anymore? Or they'll just not put your face up around for a little bit until eventually the heat dies down and nobody cares anymore because, oh yeah, that was so old, that was so long ago, nobody cares. But this thing did this thing. This episode pissed me off because it felt like it had so much potential. That's what annoyed me, and I even told this to like Johnny Two Cellos, is that I felt like this could have actually worked if it at least had something to say about cancel culture or they did it in a unique way. But the way the episode plays out is like Zap gets a formal complaint from Kif because he was constantly harassing Kif, mistreating him, even sort of sexually assaulted him. Is because he used him as a towel in the episode. It was stupid, but because it felt kind of out of character. Even I was like, this feels out of character, even though Zap is already a pig and he's a gross guy. To this degree, I'm like, nah, I can't see Zap being this much of an asshole. I feel like he's an asshole, but I don't know if he's this much to that degree. But then again, he has been shown to be willing to like sacrifice others for his own benefit. So, but but either way, like it ended up with him getting a formal complaint and being forced to have to take a class on being like they explicitly say he's canceled, and they kind of scarlet letter him by putting like a big C on his like chest that he has to wear around, and he has to do this little seminar to get better or so, or before he's allowed to be captain again. And so Lilo ends up taking over as captain for the Nimbus, which already was a little bit like, okay, she's just wanting to join the military again. I forgot exactly what it was that why Leela even wanted to join. But either way, it still could have been fun. But we kind of already done this. That's the kind of big problem. We've done this before with like what would happen if the Planet Express crew went into the military. Like we've seen it already, so it was very weird not for them to go back into it. It's like, really? I mean, there was still jokes potential. I'll give you that. Like they played it like it was a parody of Star Trek. Like, because that was the big problem with that Zap episode was the Zap Brannigan stuff ends up being feeling so small time compared to the Leela stuff. And the Leela stuff is actually kind of interesting to watch if it was just done differently and under a better circumstance. I mean, better circumstances. But like the way it is, it's just like you have one really good idea, but it's clashing with this bad idea with you trying to see if you can understand cancellation or cancel culture when you really have no clue what the hell cancel culture is, because it's not this. Now that's just something that always pissed me off in that episode. I mean, that was just pissing me off throughout that episode. I was just like, oh my god, y'all have nothing to say on this. They didn't even have really any clever jokes. Like most of the jokes were just played up as straightforward as possible, and I'm like, yeah, we gotta sit through this. Ugh. Like, it just wasn't funny. Like, it really wasn't. What would you say is the best episode from the season 2? I'll get to that when I'm done with all these negatives, but just want to get through these. Where you get the Hop Pop portrait from? Oh, I got this from MomoCon, actually. Like, I got it's actually signed. I dropped a figure. but it's actually a signed copy. Oh, that's gonna be difficult to get back on here. Like Bill Farmer himself actually like had signed this, and but it's really nice. Like I got this just I ended up getting a frame for it though. It didn't come with a frame. I just got it and like get in there, but or maybe not. Clean stuff. But yeah, let's play a game of can I get this back on the wall without dropping it or fumbling. Okay, the nail back out. I think I can get it. I think I can get it. Hey, there we go. I did it. Say yay in the chat for me. uh. Get the hell. I ain't mean to hold your frame, my bad. Or to hold. I think you meant to say hold. Hoping you meant to say hold, because gotta hope you meant to say hold. Couldn't find any Amphibia merch at the last MomoCon. Hopefully that'll be different at the next one. It probably will be, considering Matt Brawley's supposed to be there. I gotta see if I can do something. I gotta see if I can get something done for MomoCon then. Might see if I can sit down and think over there. Might interview them. Might see if I can see if I can interview like Matt Brawley or Dana Terrace. Also, if you're interested in me interviewing like creators and all that, you can subscribe to my channel, Sit Down and Think, where I have my podcast talking to like the crews and creators of a bunch of animated shows. So head on over there in the description when you're done with this stream. But yeah, the Zap got canceled episode, I really did not like that one. It was just so boring. I mean, it was also very boring. That's the one thing. It's like I don't remember any laughs like that. So I just threw. So it's just those were like the big three bad ones that I can remember. The crypto one wasn't as bad because it's like okay, at least they're somewhat being creative with it. So it's like I can sit through this, but it's like the COVID episode, Zap got canceled, and the anthology episode were the absolute like worst to me. Like when it got to that, I was like, nah. These like I don't know if you can get worse than that. And then my friend, Johnny, it told me like the finale though. It's like, and it's funny because it's like you get hit with like three back-to-back bad. I think you get hit with like three back-to-back bad episodes through Futurama, and for the finale to be like one of the best episodes of Futurama. But again, we'll get to that. I think this was a great, but overall, I think it's a good season. Like, even though it was like, 10 episodes this season, and they only had and only 3 of them were like total, like, crap. I think that's honestly good on their part. If I'm right, it's 3 episodes. Oh, crap. Ugh. Okay, yeah. I think it's 10 episodes. Let me be sure. 10 episodes. Oh my god. Yep. Don't get used to it. I think overall, like, the episodes were pretty good. It's just they had those duds in there, and that they just need. I think the biggest lesson is stop focusing hard on like these pop culture things that most people aren't. They're not even beloved culture. That's the thing. Like, it's one thing if you want to talk about like. Actually, I can't even say that because it's like like Futurama's had sort of pop culture references, but the thing is, sometimes the way they do it is like they play into a joke for about that pop culture reference, or they come up with their own joke, so it's like, okay, it's more fresh. But here, like with COVID, it's like, this is not funny. It's just, it's like, yeah, that was a bad time we had to live in, but the scars are too fresh. I guess that's the biggest thing. It's like the scars are a little too fresh for this. Like, we're not really feeling like nostalgic for 2020. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this would have been ideal if it was like 2021 maybe, or if the lockdowns even lasted that much longer. Because hell, they didn't even last a whole fucking year. uh, like, I think it would have been better served if it's like, just don't never talk about like COVID right now. I think you got to give us some years before you can start joking on it and making it funny. At least that's how I feel. Like, it's just one of those type of things where it's like, exactly. It's like, that was just too soon. Exactly. That it was too soon to be like trying to joke on it, because it's like a lot of millions died, and nobody wow, it was a crazy time. Obviously, like tensions were so flared and all insane and everything. It still was like, it's too fresh of a scar. So it's like, just avoid that stuff. That plaque, you'd be surprised. I've seen folks call early lockdown prime quarantine vibes. At least around my age range. What a gross age range are you at for people to say that prime? I'm like, there was nothing prime about that. But we're not here for COVID. Getting into actual good stuff. I think they had like some strong episodes. They actually, like, the first really strong episode that I liked the premiere. I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, nice way to start us off. But once we got into, when we got to Amy and Kif finally having kids, I think that's when it really clicked with Futurama. I think it clicked heavily with, then it's like, oh, they can tell these really personal stories. It's even a wrap up, basically. Like, it's basically a new wrap up to Kif and Amy's story. And I'm like, I like that. I like that y'all are willing to do that on the second episode even. I'm like, good. Like, I like seeing that. I wouldn't ask them to do that for every episode, otherwise it wouldn't be a special, but I like how they played it up, because they played up the fact that it's like, Amy now is like, you are fully grown, you are out of college, you got a job, like, and you got a man who's really good and been with you for years by this point. So what was the next best route for them to go with for Kif and Amy's story? Parenthood. I was like, let's see them actually have to take care of their kids. Like they already sorted, and that's the thing. This was a callback from the Fox run. This is all the way back to the original Fox run, that they brought back the little small babies that went into the water. By the end of that episode, when Kif got pregnant, like, it was pretty good. It's like, and so they played off. And so I like how they were able to go the route of, okay, let's actually do this right. Let's actually commit to this idea that they're going to be parents. They gave them 3 kids, and they're all in different, like, sort of ages. They're sort of in different ages mentally, but they're the same age in a sense. It's like weird stuff from Kif's home planet. You got to be there, that type of stuff. But we get to Amy actually having to take care of the kids, and like, she's struggling. It's like, oh my god, she's finally learning. She's learning that it's like, yeah, this is motherhood. It's work. It's genuinely a thing you gotta ask yourself. But the story mainly revolved around her needing a break, and so she just like lets Leela take care of the kids, because it's the one who donated the DNA to allow for Kif to get pregnant. But the biggest thing that was fun. The biggest thing was like they Leela's like, I don't want. I'm not trying to raise kids. I'll be a nice aunt, cool, but she started getting tired because it's like I don't want this, and then Leela kind of snaps at her because the kids are really gravitating towards Leela more than they are Amy. You know, they kind of treat Leela more like she's their mom than Amy, and Amy's getting jealous from that, and she snaps at Leela, and it's kind of fucked up. It's like, yo, what the hell? But by the end, Amy finally learns. It's like, yo, you really this is hard work, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you love them, right? And she actually had to realize it's like, yeah, no, I love them. I love them with all my heart, and they acknowledge her as their mother, and it was so nice to see. It was really nice to see. I was like, yes, yes, I like, and they fully commit to it because we see those kids show up again. So they're like, yeah, Kif and Amy now are parents. They have kids, and every now and then these kids will show up again. Like they'll either be in the background, or like just maybe there's going to be an episode dedicated to them. Heck, if anything, they could team them up with Hubert and what was Hermie's son's name? It wasn't Clyde. I'm sorry, chat, help me out. What was Hermie's son's name? If y'all can remember, because I'm blanking on that. But I feel like it was Clyde, but I could be wrong. But it was Dwight. Thank you, Eaton. Dwight. Okay, but yeah, have them team up with like Hubert and Dwight. I don't know. That'd probably be fun. But yeah, I really like that episode. A big favorite was definitely that Christmas episode. That was nuts. Like, and it's funny because the last good Christmas episode we got out of Futurama was from the Fox Central run. It was the second Christmas special. That was the last good one. The other one was like a weird anthology series, and just like, this feels gross. I don't like how this is. Like, jeez. I mean, they can end on bleak notes, but that one ended on bleak. Like every anthology thing ended with everybody dying, and I'm just like, okay, man, what are we doing anymore? I don't even know, man. Oh, I just wasn't feeling that. But we get into, but that Christmas episode, that was unique. Like, they brought back the little time machine that can only travel forward and can never go backwards. So in order to, like, if you ever, and the thing they learned from that little machine is that it's like, in going forward, eventually the universe resets and you'll just end up back in time. I mean, back to where you originally started moving forward. So it's funny because it's like, oh, like they do this, it's sort of this weird thing, and it's kind of hard to explain, honestly. Like, they did this thing where it's like they went forward to kind of prevent something from happening, like to stop Santa Claus, because he had like a evil switch. He had a good guy switch and an evil switch, and they need to flip it at some point. But like I said, it's so confusing because it's time travel, but in watching the episode, it makes so much sense, and it's actually really good, you know? Like, it really plays out pretty well, you know? So it's funny, like, with this the A-E-I-O-U, sometimes why? Oh, okay. But like, it's like they did this time travel thing, and it's like they flipped the switch, but when they traveled to a point in time that was more closer towards the future, I guess, like the Christmas that was up and coming, and they flipped his switch then, and that switched. But the end result was that it's like when they did that, they made him sort of evil again because they had traveled through time the first time, and that was actually them making him a good guy or something. It's really difficult, but it was so clever. Like, I was watching that, I was like, oh my god, this is classic. Like, this is classic Futurama, using unique scientific like things and stuff, plus the Bender and Zoidberg chemistry. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that definitely, but like using that scientific craziness and coming up with these weird ideas that still feel so unique and something you just haven't seen before. You know what I mean? That's what that was so funny to me. I was like, yo, that is cool. It was like that was the good stuff we want from Futurama. It's like that y'all got to keep doing that type of stuff. Come on. And Featherdeer pointed out with Bender and Zoidberg's chemistry, that's something I didn't think about. It's like, yeah, that's right. We never really got like Zoidberg and Bender together like that. Most of the time it's somebody else. It's usually somebody else. Bender's paired with like Fry, maybe Leela sometimes, or Hermes even. But we haven't really gotten Bender with Zoidberg, and so it was really nice, and it was really sweet to actually have Bender be somewhat nice to him for a little bit. Not fully, obviously, he was still like a jackass, but it's like, okay, it's like we hung out and I gained a little bit of perspective on you. It's that type of thing, but Bender obviously ain't about to change his ways. But yeah. Yeah, Bender usually craps on Zoidberg, so that was a cool dynamic. Yeah, I'm really glad that played out very well. I'm really happy to see how because it was interesting to see. It's like, yeah, like Bender absolutely hates Zoidberg. And Zoidberg's just like going along a lot of the time. But it was fun seeing those two kind of screw up, but somehow screw up in a good way. Like by the end of the episode, it's like, oh, they actually did a good thing. Like back then, it was like the first time they time traveled, they screwed up, and that's what turned Santa evil the whole time. And then when Zoidberg and Bender time travel, they're actually the ones who fixed it. In a sense, it's like they're the ones who actually fixed the problem somehow. Like I said, if you watch the episode, you'll understand. But it was a really good episode. I think that was excellent on their part. What other episodes did they have? Yeah, that's the crypto episode. Oh, Parasite Regain. I kind of enjoyed that one. Like that was nibble, but I'll admit I kind of wish they went a little bit of a different route. But whether or not it would have ruined it, I don't know. That episode was like dealing with Nibbler. It kind of was almost like an Alzheimer's episode. Like basically Nibbler had this problem going on, like that was with these little parasites that were like eating away at his brain. Like it was the worms, pretty much. They brought the worms back, but that ended up creating a bit of a mystery for the audience, at least, to wonder, why is it the worms are deteriorating Nibbler's brain? I don't get it. Shouldn't the worms be, if anything, making Nibbler better than what he normally is? And it's like, yeah, by the end we find out these other parasites that are doing this to him, and it's like, oh, okay. And by the end, he's good and all, but it reminds me of the rare time Rick and Jerry worked together in season 5. Yeah, sort of kind of in that boat, but it's like sort of kind of in that boat. But back to the Nibbler episode. Like, I kind of wanted let's see. Got a $2 super chat from Tony Golden. I want to read your name, but it won't show. Sorry, it won't. Yeah, sorry. I can't see your name, but I appreciate it nonetheless. It's eventually gonna pop up. I'm gonna see it, but I appreciate it saying review TMNT 1999 movie. I promise it'll be great. Don't do requests, and I don't do live action. Sorry. It's animation only. This channel tried live action before. Nobody was feeling it. Sorry, but yeah, that the Parasite Regained like Nibbler episode. I think it could have worked if I or no. Okay, the dude's name was Tony Golden the second. It was Tony Golden the second. Dang. Okay, yeah. Sorry for the misread the first time, but the Nibbler episode, I think I kind of wanted them to commit to Nibbler actually being dumbified, like he's just no long, like, but I think about it a little bit. I think about it. It probably wouldn't have worked out too well because that now means every time you see Nibbler, you're just thinking of what a great person he used to be. It would be depressing, is ultimately what happens. It's like it's gonna be depressing because it's like this guy lost his mind and he's just running around like an idiot. Like he's just running around being crazy and goofy. Can't even say any words anymore. And that's it's not going to be funny. Like every time he gets hurt or something happens to him, it's like, yeah, we can't Nibbler can't have anything happen to him anymore. Like he's at that point they'd be erasing the character from the series. It's like effectively they'd be killing off a character. But it would probably be a bit more sadder because it's like, yeah, the character would have to show up a bunch of times and I mean, unless they want to fully commit to killing him, in which case it's like he's just dead. But even still, I do want to say, thinking about it, it's like, yeah, I guess they shouldn't have committed because if they did, it just wouldn't have been as great, or it would have changed up some things. It's like, yeah, we can't show Nibbler because he's super tragic now, and you're not going to be laughing at him or his antics anymore. You're just going to be like, oh man, that poor guy. He lost his memory. Like he literally just lost everything. He just does not know who he is or what is going on anymore. He's just a helpless, dumb animal. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want that. But it was a good episode nonetheless. It was like the one Amazon episode. That was the pop culture, but I don't remember hating that too much. It was fine. Let's see. And the finale. I really believe the finale is like one of the top best episodes of Futurama because they got into some interesting stuff. Like the whole there's always this theory that we are all living in a simulation. You know, and Futurama decided, let's actually play a little into that. Like, let's actually play a little into that theory. And they went all the way with it. And the funny thing is, you know, I was mentioning where the animation is to the point where they're, like, sitting down a lot. Like, in this one, there's just mostly sitting in this whole episode. But it's still so engaging because you're wondering where everything's going to go. It's like, okay, they created because it starts off with like the professor creating a simulation of the crew and everybody in the world. You know, it's like his own simulated universe pretty much. And he decided I'm going to like it. He showed it off to the crew and everybody was all fascinated. And the way it started, it's like it was just these little 3 dots that had like the primary color schemes of the characters, so you'd easily know who's who, which was already pretty cool. The fact that it's like, yeah, these characters have such strong, distinct colors to them that just putting the colors next to each other is enough to tell you who represents who. And so we get into like so then Amy asks pretty much, okay, but what if, like, since you created a simulation, what if we are also a simulation? And, you know, they have a genuine back and forth on this stuff about the fact that it's like, no, there's no way. Like, because he mentions certain things that's like, in reality, it's like, it's interesting how he explains some things, like certain things, like he tried to explain the idea of, say, hiding a ball into hiding, like playing the little shuffle game where you have a ball in one cup and the person has to pick one of the cups that has to pick the ball in the cup to win. His thing was, well, okay, in a simulation, it like the simulation I made, if you do that type of game, it wouldn't really know if there was a ball. It wouldn't really do have a processing power to put a ball in just one of those specific into a specific cup. It would, if anything, just decide to have two balls in one of the cups and just decide whenever anybody looks into the cup, that's the ball that has that's the cup that has the ball. They decide that that's the one that has it. So it's sort of an interesting thing. But they took it to its full supreme because they decided, let's let them like overload their the CPU that was running the simulation, because it took a lot of power to be able to run the simulation. And so the simulation, eventually they wisened up and thought about, and it ended up looping, like they somehow loop the simulation, coming to the conclusion of what maybe they're in a simulation. And I like how they play it up here. I like how in this one they go the route of they basically go the route of, let's overload this machine to figure it out, because if it basically they have to do this like big supernova thing in space. It's the type of thing, I don't remember the exact name of it, that requires so much power and energy to be able to do that. If it were to happen in the that for the simulation, it wouldn't have the processing power to do it. So if that type of explosion or supernova were to happen, it's going to cause glitches, basically. Like a bunch of stuff is going to glitch, and you're not going to be able to understand. You now are going to understand, yep, you are in a simulation. You saw stuff glitching and all that. Because it really was testing that it was basically doing a stress test to that degree. Male. But I liked how it all played out. I thought it was really funny. Thanks, BJ, for subscribing. BJ, okay. But it was really funny. Like, a lot of the jokes were on point and well timed. Like, they had certain moments where certain characters, like the simulated characters, were talking about certain things, and the real characters would like respond, and like they would zoom out from the simulation to show the character in the same position as the simulated character, just to be like half fat chance, or like giving a response to what was said, like a negative response to them. And it was funny. Like, it was very funny. They kind of did a sort of callback to one joke from either the second or first season. It was like the pageant episode where they had to protect that little nebula thing, that little glowing nebula thing, and like they threw it in the it's like they like the professor, when he was showing it, at first he shows it in his bed, then the next thing he shows it in a bathtub when they ask for somewhere a bit more comfortable, like a bit more open, and he's in the bathtub like just naked. And so he does this in this episode. In the simulation episode, he decides he says, hey, I found a new idea, and has everybody meet him while he's taking a crap or just on the toilet. Like, he even says, like, I wasn't even using it. I'm like, what is he? I was like, what are they doing? Like, they're just being goofy. But it's fun. It was really funny. Overall, it was a really great episode, and I think it's indicative of exactly what we want out of good Futurama moving forward. It's like, if you're going to do this, like, really get into the stuff, get into the scientific stuff, play into that, okay? Like, that's what people really enjoy about Futurama. It's like, because I don't think crass humor is really the strongest for Futurama, because even during the Fox run, they were way more tasteful. I mean, save for the transphobic like jokes, like those were a bit more like, okay, they're just doing that. Like, those don't hold up of course, it was like different times, but still, it's like, God, those are just like I gasp every time they come up. I'm like, jeez. But I think with this new Futurama, it's good. It's genuinely pretty good. They actually have real good, great standout episodes. They just had a few duds that I would hope that they know moving forward not to do any more of. It's like no more COVID stuff, no canceled stuff. Like, please, like, just stick to the stuff that was actually pretty cool, like the scientific inquiry stuff, the more super personal aspect to everybody's lives, evolve the characters as the show goes on. That's something I was kind of annoyed that, like with Zoidberg, he doesn't get his love interest back. That was something that was weird to me. I was like, what about that girl he was seeing by the ferry? That was like the second to last episode of the Comedy Central run. Like, what happened to her? Like, she's just gone, not mentioned at all. I'm like, that's weird, because they didn't reset that far back. They just reset from before they, like, did the finale of the, before a certain part of the finale to the Comedy Central run, so it's weird. But, yeah. The first episode was also about, like, streaming, but wasn't bad. I liked it, like I said. But I think it's like, this is good. I would hope we get more. I'd like to get more. I'd be happy with more. I just want them to not do another COVID episode or even retire the anthology episodes. I don't think it'd be bad if they just decide not to do the anthology episodes anymore. Like, if they just decide, look, we don't really got many jokes for these anymore, or we don't really, I don't know. I just think it works better if they just just don't bother. I don't know. But yeah, that's overall, that's Futurama for you. Ugh. Did y'all enjoy it as much? Hopefully they remember her for the next season. Yeah, I'm hoping they remember her for the next season. It would be nice. Let's see. From the way you're describing it, it reminds me of the rare time. Right? Yeah. Chat kind of just slowed down. But I think overall this could be a time to go for break. We've been going for basically 2 hours, and we got one more show to talk about. So I'll get to that, but I got to go on break real quick. So change it over to the BRB screen, or to the BR back screen.
Yeah. Get out of here with that shit, man. Yo. You don't know me and you don't know I'm going through, so fuck you and your lame ass point of view. That should have been my whole mission from the start. You put it together, I tear it all apart. What? Gotta get mine, stepping through this minefield, and what's not mine becomes mine. You mine? That's the way I gotta take it from the mans. Put a price up on the fans, I put let up in the stand. It doesn't matter who the target is. You know I'm gonna finish it once I get it started, kid. That's the way I gotta market it. Marksman, mercenary, making all your hearts skip, and I can turn you into parts quick. Put you in a box and ship you off the yard 6, where the non-believers go. The ones that started pleading because they couldn't take the bleeding from the beating, yo. So you might want to shut your mouth before you end up in a pine box headed down south. Your mama brought you in, I'ma take you out. Send you down to hell, you can burn like gout. I'ma make it clear, I won't leave a doubt. I told you I'm here, it's my only route. So you can stick around because it's gonna be a thriller. In this world, ain't no other option for a killer. I just gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Body for a price, just say so. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. If it means kill them all, then I won't say no. No is what I hear all the time when I'm slaying them. Body parts, so nice for laying them. Slice, dicing up some mayhem. Gotta keep it light in this dark world of gray and black. But you can get your axe to the back or a slap to the face from the clap of a gat. Strapped to your waist, plastic to your hat. Back, feel the tragic collapse. I say this pretty serious, so maybe you should start thinking, well, it's time to be fearing this. Cause if I keep hearing this, I'ma have no other choice but to leave your whole fam hearingless. Yeah, that's how really real it is. I care about my pockets, not about your feelings, shit. So when I kill you, man, it ain't personal, it's just the only way I still can make a grand. Understand what I'm talking about? Get the picture of what this all about? It's time for you to walk it out. You don't wanna be around when these dogs start barking out. You don't wanna play the target route, cause I don't get paid unless the fucking target's out. That's the way it goes, that's the only way I know just to make my dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Body for a price, just say so. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. Gotta get the cash, gotta get the dough. If it means kill 'em all, then I won't say no.
Okay, we are back. Gotta change this over to the next thing. As soon as I get a good image. Found an amazing image. Here we go. All right, Castlevania Nocturne. Oh, where do we start on you? I ended up putting like first impressions, like small thoughts for it. What is this thing talking about? Audio bit rate. Whatever. I put like a small thoughts on it, like literally the day of, because I managed to see it early. So, and the funny thing about seeing this show early was literally the fact that, like, as after watching it, I was constantly thinking, oh, this is going to piss off conservatives and grifters. like, 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 like they're gonna be mad. They're gonna be so mad. Like that Clownfish TV, them fools. Like they're gonna be jumping all over this thing. But I don't know. Maybe but maybe not. I kind of haven't been seeing that much of like hate of like I don't know. I haven't seen that many people getting mad maybe they haven't gotten to that episode because it's 8 episodes overall. And but they'll because it's a certain character who they like do a race swap with, and she's pretty much, and she's pretty cool. Like her name's Annette. Like she's the black girl you saw in the trailers. Like, but a big thing about her is that she doesn't look originally like that. She wasn't black. She was white. She, in fact, let's see. She looks significantly white. It's like, oh, they going that route. They doing that. They trying to piss people off. Like, okay, let's see how that goes. But like, sorry, like just getting the image up for y'all, cause the way she originally looked. What was the name of that actual image? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. Can I not save it here? Oh, there we go. Like, this is what she looked like. This is what she looked like. You know what I'm saying? It's nuts. It's completely nuts. But like that that's what was so crazy. So when I looked up this image right here, I was like, oh, they want to piss off people. Okay. I mean, I'm down. And because the great thing is that like in the show, like the way she actually looks in the show is so very different. Like, okay, that's a good image. Gotta keep doing this thing. I hate WEBP files. I don't know why they do. I don't know why that's becoming a norm. I hate that that's becoming a norm. Where's you? Where are you? Gotta find the image to put it up for y'all. Hold on. We gonna get there. We getting there. Okay, I lost that image. I don't remember where it is. Oh my god. Shoot. I gotta clean this up. I'm sorry, y'all. I am so sorry. It's not here. It's not here. Did I save it? Didn't it save? Where'd it go? And that's fine. So it's just there it is. Yeah, this is what she looks like. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I like how they got her hair. I really like that gold. Those gold tips. Those are nice. Those are a nice touch. But like, it really was like, oh, we're getting into that bag. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's get it. Let's do it. And they didn't skimp out on her. Because like they gave her her backstory is basically she's like a free slave now. Like she managed to break away from she managed to start like a slave revolution, if I'm correct, on her on the plantation she was at, and break free from her vampire slave master. You heard that right. Her vampire slave master. It's like, oh, we're doing this. Ew. Like, we're even doing that. Okay. Like, this was a tightrope. I tell you now, this shit was a tightrope. And they walked that shit like it was nothing. They were on a unicycle on this bitch, okay? Like, they were on a unicycle for this bitch. They made sure they did this shit so well, and I applaud them for that. Like, I'm like Clive Owens, if I'm right, because he's one of the writers. Adam Dietz, Sam Dietz, like the whole crew for Powerhouse. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Okay, like, you got it. Because I was like, oh, because the fact is, like, she rises up against this guy, and it's like he's a slave owner, but he's a vampire. And I'm like, vampire slave owners. It's so easy to mess that up. It's so genuinely easy to mess that up. It is, and they somehow managed not to. That's what's amazing to me. They really do play into this shit of like, sorry about that. But like, they played into this, like, how, because the big thing is, like, the vampires find themselves to be superior to humans, right? So in this instance, it's the vampires, like, really treating themselves as that, to that full degree. They're like, yeah, we'll even take in a few slaves. Like, we'll do some slavery. That's how much it's like, oh. And I think it plays well, because the biggest thing, a big message that this is kind of going for, is trying to say that it's the rich, it's the people in charge who's screwing us over. We shouldn't be so dedicated to just, like, we shouldn't be trying to fight each other on our race and everything exactly. Like, it's the powers that be that are in charge. And and even in the vampires, they have a mix of different vampires too. Because, like, the slave owner vampires, they're like, and that slave owner, like, former slave owner, like, that motherfucker was like white, like the purest white that is ever white, that like the purest white that is ever whited. It's like, damn, like, you need sunglasses to look at the motherfucker, because it's like, damn, you reflect the sun. Like, it's like you are perfectly reflecting the sun. You're that white. And it's like it was so funny, you know. It was just so crazy how they did it in this. It's like, whoa. Like, because it could have. It's genuinely amazing how they walked the tightrope and kept the metaphor going about the powers that be, because they still kept it to the church. They showed, like, the church was fucked up. Because in this one, the church is actually working with the vampires, because the vampires are conspiring to bring back what they know as their Messiah Sekhmet. If I said it right, probably didn't. It, like, they get revived through using the body of this one very powerful, like, queen-like vampire, because it's set in, like, the Victorian era, and she's dressed like one in those Victorian dresses with the poofy hairs and puffy dress and such. And, like, we get to, like, this whole thing plays out so well, like, because they make it clear it's the rich are screwing you over. Because the fact that it's like, yeah, the rich bought the churches, and they're corrupting those now, because they're constantly being horrible and doing all this horrible shit under the guise of saying we're just under the duties of God. And the dude who runs this particular church, it's like he's working all these night demons and shit, and, like, he controls them and has them attack and do all this and that. But, like, it's messed up. We get to, like, because, and I do want to preface, it's like, there is some more spoilers. Like, this whole thing is, I'm talking all spoilers, so just be fairly warned. I said that at the beginning of the stream. It's like, we are talking spoilers. But, like, you get into, like, we get more into Annette and them, and they're fighting. There's this one guy that she's with called Edouard that she met after she was freed, and, you know, they were good friends. They did well. They like came up with each other. They hunted demons and, you know, learned learned enough well, no. Annette at least learned magic and learned combat. Edward only learned like combat, and that's kind of ultimately what was his downfall. Is it's like he ends up dying to the demons. Like they take him and put him in this weird machine, and it changes him into a demon. But he doesn't really remember who he was or his past life, but he just remembers certain things because he was a singer. He was an opera singer, and he does it, and it's really good. Like it's all the songs he sings because he sings constantly in this whole thing. They're beautifully sung, like really done, really well done. But it's when it's most of the stuff, it's all happening, and you're real, and it's to say we now need to get to Richter Belmont, the main focus of the whole thing. Now his story is like very tragic because his mom was killed by a vampire. This dude named Allrox. He's the black guy with the really pretty hair. Uh, he's also, I'm fairly certain, race swapped, and I'm fairly certain he's race swapped. Like, I'd be shocked if he wasn't. But these are not good images. I hate how they do these things now. Here we go. Yeah, this is what he looks like. And like he's definitely one of them guys who's like, yeah, you don't want to mess with him. Like, because something his mother, like Richter's mom, had did to him. Like, he just wanted his revenge. He killed her right in front of Richter, and Richter couldn't do nothing. Like, all he could do was just sit there and just be in shock. And that and it weighed mentally on him because he lost his because Richter was able to do magic as a kid, and he lost his ability to do that because of the trauma, and so all he really was good for was just more hand-to-hand combat and using the whip. But and he's a badass like normal, but he's a nice guy. Like, he's not as harsh as like Trevor was. Like, Trevor was just beaten down and just like really angry. Richter is someone who feels a bit more balanced. Like, he's very like but still leaning towards like a anxious, angry side a little bit. Like, you definitely can feel like, yeah, this is a guy who gets a little restless here and there. But you get to but yeah, with Richter, it's like he's helping his friend Maria, who's like is the daughter of this woman Emmanuel, who brought him in, and who like came up with him because after he got adopted, basically. But like they're nice people too. Maria, she's very rambunctious and very dedicated. She's like, yeah, because she's like a major leader of the revolution. Because this is France. This is Victorian era France, and this is during like the French Revolution that they utilize, and it's done. I think it's done really well, but I'll admit I wasn't the most well versed in the French Revolution like that. I haven't read up on it in a while. I know enough about it, but like in this sense, they did like the whole thing is like Richter is helping Maria out with the revolution because like, yeah, I just follow you all to the ends of the earth because you guys took care of me. You guys took me in and treated me like one of your own, you know, like you know, ifs, ands, and buts. So I'm following y'all wherever you go. You know, it was good, really good. It helped you connect with a lot of these it really helped you connect with all of these characters. It's only 8 episodes, like I said, but I connected really strong. I felt a good connection between every character here. Like, so it was good. I think overall, like, the chemistry of all these characters came off really strongly. Um, the biggest thing to talk about also would be the action, because I think they very much made the animation like that like the finale to the first Castlevania, and man was it good. Yeah, I mean it. That animation was popping. There were moments where like they're just kicking ass, and I'm like, I love this. Like every fight they pop off, but it's the finale fight. The finale fight, it's just they're just going, bro. Like it's nuts. It's like pandemonium, and but it's still so cohesive. You know, it's like they do that thing where it's like all very fluid, and but the details are getting a bit more like crazy, but they managed to still keep enough strong detail to know what's going on. That's the biggest thing. It was nuts. It was so good. Only but hello, hope all's good. Yeah, all's pretty good. Jimari Melendez, but I tell you now, man, like that final fight. Y'all aren't ready if you haven't seen it. Um, like, but it was so good, so good. The animation overall was really good. Like there were certain moments that felt a little bit like I could notice it on rigs. That's the biggest thing. How did you like the finale? It was an amazing finale. Overall, like a great finale, and sets us up for more, because it's like shit got real. Because it was like they were preparing to finally stop stop the Messiah from coming into play, but they couldn't. They couldn't stop the Messiah, and now it's like, oh, it's open season on you, on revolutionaries right now. Like y'all about to die now that the Messiah's out, and it got real bad. It's like, so all's lost. Everything's looking terrible. But then, lo and behold, Alucard shows up. It's like, oh, okay. I had a feeling he was still around. That's my thing. I was thinking, I'm like, Alucard's got to show up, right? He's usually in these games, isn't he? In like most of them, because it's like his big thing is he's always a big help to the Belmont family, which is so funny and nice of him. He's like, yeah, I'm always just here to help. I'm like, damn, man. I don't know. Like, it was good. I thought it was an excellent season. Like, I am very hyped up for more. It was very emotional too. Like, every time something bad happened to these characters, you genuinely feel bad for them. Because it's just like, these are nice people, and they just want a revolution to save their town, to save their people, you know, and things are just not panning out that way. It's like, man, that's terrible, man. It just all goes so wrong, and it's just, what can you do? There's not much you could do in that whole situation. All you do is fight, but things turned out bad for them, and it's just sad, because it's like Maria's mom ended up getting captured. She like got turned, and it's gonna be horrible now, because it's like, ooh, like the mom is now part of this whole stuff. Oof. But I do want to say it did have strong hype moments. Like there's a moment where Richter finally gets his finally gets his magic back, and they kind of subverted things, because his grandpa ends up coming into the picture, and you would think, oh, they're gonna do training montage, like the old mentor teaches the new generation the fundamentals, that type of stuff, right? But it's like, no. Richter just finds his own resolve. Like, he finds his own resolve and finally gets back into using magic again. And it's pretty hype. It's sick. It's great. It was some good stuff. Like I really like this season. I guess in terms of some negatives, there was something, the cursing. the cursing felt a little weird. I mentioned that in the small thoughts. I thought it was a little odd because I was just like, what's with the why is it they say fuck sometimes, and when they do, it feels like it was a forced use. Like, I'm just like, I feel like you could have just not used the word there. Like, get to the fucking castle or something like that. And I'm just like, you could have just not used the word. It would have worked just fine without it. That's how I feel. But, I mean, getting into anything else, I don't know. I think I covered most of everything that needs to be covered. And looking forward to more, really. I'm like they came in strong. It was it's a wonder of like, were they going to be able to do this right? But I don't know if this is like a sort of kind of, I have to say sort of kind of like America's if it's sort of kind of America's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because it's like, oh, you can just keep switching Belmonts. It's like, you're allowed to switch to different Belmonts and it will still watch. I wonder if they'll ever get to Simon, because Simon was like the first one. I don't know if he was the first Belmont, was he? But he definitely was like the first Belmont we saw from the games. I never played the games, but I knew of them. Like, I know a little bit about them. So I don't know. I mean, if we get more, if I'm hoping like just we get more of Nocturne though right now, because that is some good stuff. That was good. Like, it's like if you were fiending for more Castlevania, this will easily sustain your appetite, or not sustain it, but like quench your appetite. Like, really good. And I think that just about does it for the stream. I want to thank you all for coming and enjoying me ramble on and talk your ears off about cartoons. Like I said, I might continue doing more of this, like every now and then whenever like a new shows come out and like the season's over with. It's like, why don't I talk about it? Might include movies. May include movies. We'll see. We'll see. I might. But overall, like, I enjoy doing this. Like, definitely gonna probably do it again. You can look forward to the Q&A stream sometime, pushing for next week. So we'll see. But I hope to see y'all there. I'm gonna make sure I have some guests on it. So, but yeah, thank you all for watching. Gonna change it over to the next scene. Really enjoyed doing this. Hope y'all have a good night. And always remember, it's just a thought.